Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. In today's video, we are moving on to the next round, Fall-Winter of 1914. The first round went about the way this game usually goes every time I've played it, and that is that there's a few surprises and there's a lot of things that are pretty normal, the way things normally go. What I like about the game is those surprises that are added, though. Usually they come from the random events, but of course they also come from, unexpected wins or losses in the rolling, right? So anyway, before we move on to the next round, there was just one item of housekeeping. In yesterday's video, the Chinese nationalists took over Yunnan. What I forgot about though was that the forced retreat option, when you roll a 10, 11, or 12 for the nationalists, then you're forced to retreat. One of them happened in the first round and the other one happened in the second round. So anyway, that's two of them. So let's just move two guys back to here. So they had to retreat from the attack. Anyway, that's it. So here we go. Now let's go up to the calendar and we move to Fall-Winter 1914. And as you can see, it says random events and then Ottomans join. Now we've already declared war with the Ottomans. We had that option and we took it so that we could collect 10 IPPs instead of 2. And here we have the random events. That's what we do next. And you'll find those on the Global War 1914 section of the historical board game website. Anyway, so we've got two random events. First we'll do the West, and here we go. Roll the D6. It is a 3. I like this one. So each nation in turn order, including the US, moves a neutral roundel in their favor on the diplomacy chart. Nations may move any neutral roundel, excluding those moved by a previous major power. Okay, so we'll go in the turn order, and the only restriction is you can't move a roundel that's already been moved here. I don't mean earlier, I mean right now. So Germany goes first. Where are we here? Now Germany could choose to align Chile, or they could choose to bring up one of the other ones. One of the considerations that we have with Chile is that that will trigger the Monroe Doctrine. And also it will bring the American income up faster, right? The American income will go up by 3. But if we don't take it up, then somebody else is going to take it down, right? So let's just take it up. So the Germans align Chile. And who's next? Britain. So the British, holy crap, look at that. They could align Greece. Next round, there's one there where they might align Greece as well. But you know what? Let's just do it. We're going to align Greece. Okay. We'll take care of these afterwards. Okay, so who's next? The Austro-Hungarians. Where are they? Down here. So Bulgaria. Here, let's just take a look over here at that. So here's Bulgaria. Now, if we have Bulgaria, we can trace down this river here because on one side is neutral. Then we can go through Bulgaria to the Ottomans, which will give the Ottomans a bonus. And if we build a rail link between either here and here or here and here, then we will have a rail line to southern Iraq, which will give the Germans a bonus. So that's probably a good one for us to do, is to take this down to territory passage for the Austro-Hungarians. And then France. So France has Denmark. That one's a good one just because it allows us access into the Baltics. But Romania is a really good one because it's got lots of stuff on it. Here, let me just show you that one. That's where we just were. It's just north of Bulgaria there, and the yellow one. So lots of stuff there. That's a good one. So who's next? The Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans don't have anything going for them right now. So let's just take a look over here. So I think that the Netherlands is the best one. The Ottomans aren't going to get a lot of roles, right? So this could be a good chance for us to take something good like Spain or the Netherlands and start moving it up the Ottoman track. That way, if somebody else wants it, one of the allies, then they're going to have to bring it back down to neutral and then start going up their track. Or is there something that the Ottomans want, right? The thing is that most of the stuff that's near the Ottoman Empire, like if the British hadn't taken Greece, definitely I would have done Greece there to take Greece back down again. But there's nothing here. And Persia, like Central Persia, is not that big of a deal. There's only one militia on there, right? So that doesn't help us much. Afghanistan's got a couple of mountain infantry on there, but if you're reading ahead with the random events, there's a random event there that turns the Afghans in our favor. So I think maybe the best thing to do is, like I said with the Netherlands there, let's take the Netherlands and bring it up the Ottomans. So they're stage 1 on the Ottomans. That keeps somebody else from doing it. So then we have the Russians. And you can see the Russians don't have anything going either. Is there somebody else that they can bring down? Because they're not going to be doing a lot of influencing either. You know what? Norway. Norway's right on their border. Let's bring that one down. Okay. And then, let's see. Japan doesn't. Italy doesn't. So then it's the United States. The United States, we've got Brazil and Cuba that have already started up that way. There's a thing that, another random event that gives Cuba to us. Let's take Brazil anyway. We'll go Brazil up too. Anyway, that's the first random event. So that's a good one. I like that one. One that gives everybody something and kind of kickstarts a part of the game. In this case, it kickstarts the diplomacy, gets it going a little faster. So we've got the Eastern 5. Asian security. Let's take a look here. The US and Japan each place in the place units box the following units. 1 militia, 1 coastal artillery, and 1 fortification. Each places a dreadnought in position 4. All units must be placed in a legal placement that is in or borders the Pacific Ocean during their respective turns. You each get a militia in the place units box and a fortification and a coastal artillery. And when these go on, they have to go on bordering the Pacific Ocean. And then we've got over here on stage 4, there's a dreadnought for the Japanese and the dreadnought for the Americans. Okay, so that's our second random event, right? Right. And now you'd move on to the next part, which was Ottomans join. And like I said, they've already done that. All right, so that was very consequential, that first random event. I've changed everything out now. So you can see there, the British gained 3 boats, 5 infantry and artillery, and 4 territories. And those territories are worth 2 IPP, which brings the British up to 37. And then over here, maybe even more consequences, about the same actually when you consider the units. So they've got a cruiser, they've got an infantry, they've got a militia, and they've got 1 IPP, so that takes them to, and I'm moving it now, 39 IPP. So now they're 2 ahead of the British. But the other consequence of that is the Monroe Doctrine. So a Central Powers nation has aligned a nation in South America, which means +3 to the American income. So they go from 8 to 11. And also there's a ship that the Germans have, a Central Powers ship that is adjacent to land territory in South America. So that's another one. So the Americans go up to 12. And that means that they have, I think the next threshold they were looking for was 10, which means that they will be able to conduct diplomacy in the Americas on this turn. So, big consequences on that. And that's the thing about those random events. They have some consequences. But at the same time, I mean, all this did was, like, these things were going to happen eventually, probably. Like the Greeks were only 1 away from joining the British, and the Chileans were only 1 away from joining the Germans. So those were things were going to happen. They just happened a turn or 2 earlier. Anyway, so I guess it's time to get on with the German turn. Okay, Germany's turn. It is fall, winter of 1914. So before we get going, let's just talk about winter turns in Global War 1914. Now, it's supposed to be an optional rule, but I think it should just be a regular rule anyway. It's kind of like not using the terrain, you know, like you might as well play Axis and Allies, right? And it's a fine game. It's just, you know, people play this game or play Global War for a reason. They want to kick it up a notch. And this is one of the next stages in the evolution. The thing is, like, we did talk about this a lot and over a long period of time. You know, like, we didn't just have a 10-minute discussion and say, yeah, screw it. Like, we talk about it and then we go our separate ways and think about it. And like, we talked about it over a couple of years about how to implement this, because when you think about it, like us people that are living in northern climates, we think of winter. Well, yeah, that's going to slow you down. Think of the Russian winter, right? That's a good reason to slow the armies down. But why should that affect in the Middle East, you know, or North Africa, or South America? You know, like Australia, when it's winter in the northern hemisphere, it's summer in the southern hemisphere, and vice versa. It's winter down there when it's summer up here. And so how do you do that? And like, you could make this game as complex as you want. You could make any game as complex as you want. But we wanted to make it so that it is complex, which it is, as you've seen, but it's also something where you're not going to have to stick your nose in a rule book. Like, after about 3 or 4 games of this, just like 36, you're still going to need your rule book. You're still going to need to look things up, but most of the things will be something you already know, and the game will start to flow better, right? Like, you're not going to have to look up unit costs and whether or not you can deliver Lend-Lease and things like that, right? Like, some things will just become second nature to you. And but one thing that wouldn't be is where is it winter, where is it summer, you know? And some of them don't have extreme colds, you know, like some of them have extreme warmth or monsoons or tornadoes, you know. Like, there's seasons for these things too. Hurricane season down in Florida, thinking. So, you know, how do you break that up? The northern United States has winter, and the southern United States has a hurricane season. Like, it gets too complicated, and you would spend all of your time staring into a rule book trying to figure out which part of the map you're on and what the weather is going to be there. Like, you think of the British, I mean, they've got units all over the world. Well, they'd have to look up 3-4 different times for 3 or 4 different fights on whether it's winter or summer, right? So we wanted the complexity of having that one more modifier. having inclement weather. So what we did was we made it so that, okay, we're going to take one turn a year. Like there's 3 turns every year, right? We're going to take 1 turn every year. We're going to do it in the winter, which is normal for us people in the north. You know, like we're the ones developing this game, so of course we pick winter, right? Anyway, so we're going to use the winter, and that's going to be inclement weather all over the world. Even though it doesn't normally happen all at the same time, there's at least one time during the year where just about every place in the world has some sort of inclement weather, weather that's not conducive to an offensive. I mean, it could be that it's just too hot there that time of year, right? And that's going to slow an army down. That's going to overheat machines, overheat horses, and things like that. So that's what we're doing. It's the winter months, the winter turn in Global War 14, and it's going to be like that all over the world, just to simulate bad weather all over the world. It doesn't mean it's going to start snowing in the Middle East. So anyway, let's move on. I went looking through the Lend-Lease supply path because I wanted to make sure I had that correct, that I could go down that river that's in between Serbia and Romania, and I can't because on one side of it is an enemy, and that would be those damn Serbians. So we've done the first part of our job, which for the Austrians and the Germans and the Ottomans, to try to get that supply path open between Turkey and Germany. We've got territorial passes through Bulgaria, but we got to get rid of those damn Serbians. So until that happens, Germany does not have that supply path to the Ottomans. And while I was looking, by the way, I did come across where what I said the other day was incorrect. The submarines do get to interdict on a supply path. So there's 2 submarines there, and what they would have interdicted was the one IPP that was coming from Bulgaria. So let's just take care of that. So the Austrians might lose that IPP at $1. So let's go here. The German dice will be black. It has to be a higher roll than the red dice. And so there it is. So we'll take off 1 IPP for the Austro-Hungarians, and they're down to 12 IPP. And I'm sorry for that confusion. Now there is one more thing too. I didn't change this because I thought, oh, I'll wait till Germany's turn comes around and then I'll fix it. But I was supposed to lose that heavy artillery there in that battle that I had over Lorraine here. And I forgot to take it off, so I take it off. Now, why I wanted to save it till now, because I wanted to show you something. There's no artillery left in this zone, which means that there can be no more balloon. If you're wondering how you kill somebody's balloon, it is that you take off their artillery. So like if I had 2 balloons and only 1 artillery, then I would have to lose 1 artillery. Because I have a balloon and no artillery, that means that I have to lose my balloon. Anyway, so that is done. And now we can begin our turn finally. Germany had 42 IPPs, and let's do the technology rolls first. Okay, so we have 2 technology rolls. We are going to go for wartime economy. We need a 7 or more, and we got 11. So there we go. Germany goes to stage 3 of wartime economy. Now, the next one is, let's go defense in depth. We need a 7 or more, and they got a 1. Okay, so they missed that one. Now, Germany's not going to pay for a diplomacy roll this time. However, since they did take Lorraine and nobody took it back, that means we've got this free one. So we're going to spend that roll, and we are going to do diplomacy. We're going to go for Argentina, since somebody was unkind enough to mess with our Norway there. So let's go for Argentina. We need a 3 or lower. And we got it. A 1. Nice. There we go. I'll just show you that. So that means that Argentina goes to stage 2, which means that we're going to be able to collect an IPP for that if there's a supply path, and I do believe there is. Yeah, so here we go. So that's the diplomacy rules. Okay, I'll show you what I bought. So I bought 7 infantry. I can't lend lease to the Ottomans, I can't reach them, but I am going to lend lease an artillery to the Austrians. I'm going to buy an artillery. I'm going to buy a cavalry. That's going to go down to Africa there. We're going to upgrade the militia that is in Chile, and we're going to upgrade that factory that is in Bavaria there to a major factory, which will give us another role and give us greater capacity near the Western Front there. So attack moves. We're going to do some attrition here from this territory to this territory. You know what I was thinking? This torpedo boat destroyer here, he's eventually going to be chased down. Like, he's got the Japanese after him. He's got the British after him. There's a French cruiser there. So one of the things I was thinking was, hey, why not take this guy? It's an even fight. We'll come down here against this torpedo boat destroyer. And if we get it and we manage to save our torpedo boat destroyer, that means that we'll kill the transport as well, right? Rather than giving them a chance to gang up on us, we'll go for the even fight with a chance to get a little bit more, right? So why not? Anyway, another thing we're going to do is we're going to, we got a seaplane there now, don't we? You know what? If we take that sub right here, you know, 1, 2, 3, we could take him to here. There's no seaplanes over there. And then that one, let's see, 1, 2, that guy's trapped unless we bring him down here to this line. But the problem with this line is we're only going to be able to convoy the French money, and it's only at 1, right? We don't want to convoy the Americans because that would be a declaration of war against America. So let's get him away from one of those guys anyway. Let's bring him down here so that only the French one is going to get a shot at him. Right? If we left him where he was, then both the French and the British would have been able to hit him there. So we need to get our markers. We've got convoy and convoy. And this guy over here. So we know that he is in port, right? What we're going to do, well, that means we can't move in 4 spaces. What we're going to do is split them up into 2 cruiser raiders, and we're going to go 1, 2. We're going to bring him over here, and then the other guy, well, this other one would be a convoy move, or sorry, a non-combat move. So we'll leave him there for now, and we've got to remember to move him. Okay, here we go. So we got some convoying to do. Okay, let's go with the sub that's in the Atlantic, and the British, or sorry, the submarine, the German submarine is black. So 6 plus 2 is 8, so that's 4. 4 off the British line over there. And then the line that's in the Mediterranean, or the sub, so same thing, plus 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5, so that's 3. Okay. So the British lose all that money. I'll mark those afterwards. Let's just finish our rolling here. Okay, then we've got the torpedo boat destroyer against the British torpedo boat destroyer. Down near Australia there. They both roll at 4. And the British one won. So we took a shot and we lost. All right. Oh, and we've got... Yeah, okay. Let me just show you what we're doing here. So we've got these artillery going against here. That means that we're not going to be able to move those artillery. And we couldn't have used the other ones because they're not adjacent. You can't move and then shoot, or shoot and then move. So here we go. We've got 3 artillery at 1 and 1 artillery at 2. Okay, nothing there. And 1 artillery at 2. Nothing there. Okay, that's it. So as you can see, I've marked the Mediterranean line there with a 3 and the Atlantic line over there with a 4, and I've lost $7 for the British. I've taken it off. They're down to 28 IPP. You know what? While I'm down here on this side of the board, let's just take care of a couple things. First of all, we're doing that militia upgrade over here. So we'll just take the militia off. And we're upgraded it to an infantry. So there we go. And then also the cavalry, while we're down here, he is going to go to German South Africa. You can see there is a manpower icon there. So you can place cavalry, or you could even place a camel because he's within one territory of desert. But I thought a cavalry might be a little more useful down here in South Africa. And then this guy here, he can only go 3 because he was in port there. So there's 1. Let's go 2. Let's go 2. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's go here. Okay. So then, back up to the other side of the board. Let's just finish off this turn. Knowing that the winter turn is coming up, we don't have to, or the winter term is upon us, we don't have to worry too much about an offensive. We only need to stop the French once over here, right? Regardless of whether or not we have a trench line. We do have to worry about the also the British. Like, the British will go first, which is good for us. So because the British have less here, so they're not going to want to take on the Germans before the French do anyway. So that's good. And we didn't attack because what would be the point? We've only got 1 turn to do it in. Let's let them try to take a shot at us, and we'll defend at 6 with all those infantry, right? But we are going to, let's move 3 infantry in, or 3 artillery in there. We're going to move 2 infantry down to Austria. We're going to move 2 infantry over to Bohemia. Okay. We're going to move the 5 infantry into Lorraine, the 5 remaining infantry. So let's do that. Now, if we're going to move that artillery in there, we might as well move the balloon in as well. Okay, in Europe you have a rail capacity of 3. So let's move this sucker back. Let's take a look at the Eastern Front. We're going to rail both pieces of artillery into here. Okay. And then we're going to crash our Zeppelin. Oh, the humanity. Okay. And then I don't think we're going to, yeah, we are going to make one more move. Let's just set these guys down beside because we got more to go. So we're going to move one down here because this guy can only get hit by this guy here. But this guy can get hit by this and this. So that's why we're kind of shifting ourselves over a little bit, right? I believe that's all. Oh, nope, we got to move our subs out. So they can go for, okay, I'll put the subs up here. Okay. Then we're going to place our units. So we've got that factory we're going to exchange. Now we got to remember that we also have to pay 1 manpower for upgrading that factory to a major. So that manpower is down to 2 over there. And we're going to place the artillery on, we have to place it where there's a factory, remember. We're going to place it on Bavaria. And then we have a bunch of infantry. So let's place 2 in Bavaria because that's all we have left. We can place 1 here, 1 here, oh, and 1 over here in East Prussia. Okay. And that leaves us with 2. Let's place 1 in Western Germany. Now let's just place them both there. Is this? Oh, this has got 2 here. You know what? Let's place the second one here. Okay. And we'll place the 1 in Western Germany. Now we have gone light on the Western Front because we needed to bulk this up, but I think that this is good now. So after that, we're going to go heavy on the Western, on the Western Front. So that's it. The Germans are up to 39, plus they get to collect for Argentina because there is a supply path open there. So they get to collect 1, that's 40. And then they have 3 bonus income. 2 for the Netherlands and 1 for Sweden and Norway. So 43 IPP, which is 1 more than last time. And we also have the Lend-Lease to deliver. And that is going right here to Bohemia because we have to stop in the first land zone, right? So we'll take it from here to here. There we go. Yeah, that's it. That's the German turn. I will, I'm going to say goodbye here, but then when I take a look at the video, I have no idea how long it is. I might add the British onto this or I might not, depending on how long this video is. But if it's long enough, then this will be its own video and I will start on the British and add in some more from everybody else on that. The German turn is going to take longer, right, because of the random events. Anyway, that's all I got here. So take care, everyone. General Hand Grenade, out.